In Bloomington, another opportunity presents itself for the young Indiana Hoosiers to gain respectability in the Big Ten. However, the relentless, scrappy style of Minnesota always presents its share of challenges. The Gophers and Hoosiers next on the Big Ten Network. Legendary Assembly Hall on the campus of Indiana University, and this is Big Ten Men's Basketball Sunday, presented by Oberto. Today, it's the Minnesota Golden Gophers ready for their fourth road game of the season in conference play against the scrappy young Indiana Hoosiers. Hi everybody, I'm Gus Johnson along with Michigan State legend Greg Kelser, and welcome to Bloomington, where today we're going to get a chance to see Tubby Smith and that great defensive scheme take on this Indiana squad.
Well, you know, with Minnesota, you had better be ready to take care of the basketball. Their defense really keeps them in games, even when their offense isn't clicking. First of all, in the backcourt, Al Nolan. He leads the league in steals. On the interior, Damian Johnson. He is second in the league in steals. And if you take it to the basket casually, Ralph Sampson III will knock it back in your face. He is third in the league in block shots.
As for Indiana, sometimes we don't realize what Tom Crean inherited here at IU. This program was in shambles, but at the same time, he has his team playing hard, playing with passion. They're in most games, and they will surprise you. They beat Michigan earlier this season, and Michigan defeated Connecticut, the 15th ranked team in the country. Today, they also have some talent. Freshmen have to lead, and Christian Watford is a very, very talented ball player.
I like him a lot. And in the Michigan game, he was the lone source of offense for these Hoosiers. Had 16 points and can hurt you in a variety of ways. He can knock it down with range. He's very comfortable with the spot up, and if you get up on him, he'll go by you with that 6'9" lanky frame.
And that brings us to today's peak keys to victory.
Well, first of all, Minnesota will have to be effective with that pressure. They're going to apply it all over the floor, and they've got to reacquaint themselves with Matt Harbarber. Just 5 shot attempts in that Michigan State game, not nearly enough for a player as talented as he is offensively. Indiana has to limit the empty possessions, few turnovers, try to get good shots, and they better come with some energy and some passion and be able to maintain it.
All right, coming up, first of 2 meetings on the season is Minnesota, the Gophers, here at Assembly Hall against the Indiana Hoosiers, who are looking to upset them today. It's all coming up on the Big Ten Network.
You got some sun today. I can't believe you're still alive.
Sorry I ruined your day, man.
Oh, it's not a big deal. You just gotta learn to bend your knees.
You cleared it so easy, you know.
Who do you think you are? Me? Oh.
I wish I was.
Don't be a sidekick. Eat like an alpha.
You and I must make a pact. We must bring salvation back. Love, I'll be there. Don't you know, baby, I'll be there. I'll be there.
The Ohio State University. The University of Texas Southern University.
California, Berkeley.
Old Dominion University. Harvard University.
The University of Virginia.
Texas A&M. Norfolk State University. University. Arizona State. Pennsylvania State University.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
On an all-new episode of The Journey, Big Ten Basketball 2010.
You're actually being creative, you're being someone who can choreograph, and coaches, that's what we do as teachers and coaches. All that was preparing me to do what I'm doing now.
What's at stake for Indiana is just pride. What's at stake for Illinois is the absolute necessity of getting some road wins if they're going to qualify for the NCAA tournament.
An all-new Journey after the game, only on the Big Ten Network.
Big Ten Network Basketball Sunday is presented by Oberto Beef Jerky, who reminds you to eat like an alpha. And brought to you in part by State Farm. To us, nothing is more important than being there. Welcome back to Bloomington Assembly Hall on the campus of Indiana University. Gus Johnson along with Greg Kelser as Minnesota prepares to take on IU. Another great crowd in attendance. These fans so supportive of this Indiana program. Let's take a look at the Buffalo Wild Wings starting lineup. In the backcourt, 3 guards. Nolan is the point. Lawrence Westbrook, their leading scorer. Harfaber is the shooter from deep. Damian Johnson, what a talented player. He can do a little bit of everything on both ends of the floor. And Ralph Sampson, the third, continues to improve. Meanwhile, for Indiana, Holes, he's a freshman. He starts at the 2. Rivers, the son of Doc Rivers, the Boston Celtics head coach, he's the point guard. Meanwhile, Verdell Jones, another guard. He can score it. Watford, their best low post threat. And Pritchard starts today, the sophomore forward. And TC, Tom Crean, continues to have his guys play hard. That's what he wants them to do until he can really get the kind of roster that he wants here. Tubby Smith on the other end still doing the same thing. He's rejuvenated the Minnesota program. And Tubby Smith, you know one thing, they're going to trap you, they're going to press you, they're going to try to speed up the game from the very beginning.
I think the story of this game, Gus, will depend on how well Indiana can handle that pressure. Tubby Smith, interestingly enough, did not apply a lot of it in East Lansing. He didn't think it would be as effective. Far more experienced team in the Spartans. He's going to try and pull out all stops against this inexperienced Indiana team.
Mike Zanzier, Tom O'Neill, Curtis Shaw are your officials inside. And we got a whistle early on. And this is Tom Pritchard taking it to the basket. The foul on Damian Jones, that's his first. So Pritchard going to the line, and Pritchard, one of those kind of players, as you take a look at his season numbers, he's a banger. He'll set a screen, he'll get a rebound, he'll do whatever he needs to do to help his team.
Yeah, physical presence, scores most of his points on putbacks and drop-offs, always has the hands ready on dribble penetration from the Indiana guards.
Indiana, second free throw off the back rim and good as the Hoosiers go out in front. Indiana, they've lost 3 in a row, most recently 69-45 on Thursday to Michigan. How about the Wolverines today beating Connecticut? Hoffaber has it pinned by Watford. Nicely done. And here comes Jones. So Michigan defeating Connecticut. I mean, and that is a very good quality win for them. They were looking for a quality win.
You know, they're trying to make up some ground now in the conference, and with that opportunity against Connecticut, didn't do as well as they would have liked in the non-conference portion of their schedule. I take my hat off to the Wolverines because they were very disappointed a week ago, blowing a 17-point lead at home and losing to Northwestern. 2 really nice bounce-back wins for the Wolverines.
So Verdell Jones knocks down a 15-footer, and Indiana takes a 3-0 lead. Indiana, the key when we saw Tom Crean at the shoot around today, take care of the basketball, make it a slow game.
That's the theme. Now already in this game, Indiana has shown two different defenses. First time man-to-man, the next time some zone. They try to keep you a little off balance, give you different looks, not allowing you to get comfortable with any one defensive approach.
And that's what Coach Crean told us during the shoot around today. He's going to change defenses 1-3-1. And also they're going to go with a lot of man-to-man as well. Sampson the third, as you mentioned, Greg, to try to confuse this Minnesota team. Second free throw for Sampson the third, in and out. And the rebound goes to Jeremiah Rivers. Outlet Jones, inside, nice play as Pritchard.
How about the push up the floor by Indiana off the missed free throw? Minnesota slow getting back like a days ago, and they were made to pay for it.
Nolan turns it over for Sampson the third. Rivers the other way. Jeremiah Rivers, he's a great setup point guard, just like his dad was, but they'd like to see him score the ball a little bit more.
It would be nice if he could be a better finisher when he gets inside on that penetration, but he's a terrific rebounder and a great defender.
Averaging 7 points a game. Here's Rivers, 16-foot pull-up. Off the heel. Watford with the rebound, and Indiana gets a new a new shot clock.
Yeah, there's that hustle you talked about. You're seeing it early. I know we're just a little over 2 minutes in, but this is the type of start I'm sure Tom Crean wanted from his team. Get that confidence going.
Ball kicked. 5-1 Indiana. And as for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, they're coming off that loss to Michigan State 60-53 on the 13th in East Lansing. Prior to that, they beat Ohio State 73-62 at home. Ball deflected. That's Johnson, the great defender. First turnover for Indiana, and they get it back. Holmes stepping in the passing lane. Now Watford, he can face as well as post. Baseline, Holmes frees himself, 15-footer, and he knocked it down.
Very crafty with the basketball, the convincing pump fake to get rid of a defender, and the pull-up. A lot of confidence there by Holmes. They call him a gym rat, so he's always in the gym working on that shot, just trying to get better.
And they need him to hit shots. Weak side rebound. Rivers, and here comes Indiana. IU off to a great start, up 7-1.
Doing everything they need to do. Rebounding the basketball, playing great defense, and getting offensive productivity from several guys.
Rivers chases it down on the baseline. They get another shot clock and a whistle and a reach-in foul on Nolan. Intensity, intensity. That's what Coach Crean was preaching earlier today.
Gus, how do you like this pump fake on the reversal of the basketball? Westbrook out of the picture, Holmes unencumbered, able to knock that shot down.
Rivers crosses over, strong to the bucket and draws a foul. Aggressiveness by Jeremiah Rivers. And he'll go to the line and shoot two.
Indiana is going after Minnesota fearlessly right now, taking it inside, putting it on the floor. Even though Minnesota's a good, sound defensive team with quick hands, they help each other, they get a lot of defensive communication. Indiana right now seems to be unfazed by it all.
And Damian Johnson, remember this, folks, 16:38 to play in the first half. Damian Johnson, their great all-around player, picks up his second foul.
It's a big loss.
That is a huge loss. But that is courtesy of the aggressive nature of IU. But they have to hit free throws.
In Johnson, you lose his defense, you lose his rebounding, and you lose his scoring.
So Paul Carter checks in for Minnesota. Carter, 6'8" junior from Little Rock, Arkansas. Very talented, lefty fires, rims off. Sampson III chasing it. Verdell Jones takes it away. Diagonal pass. Watford on the move, and he can't hold on to it. And that's the second turnover of the day for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, those are the turnovers that they have to avoid. Somewhat unforced. No problem pushing the basketball. I think you should do that at home, but you have to do it intelligently, and you have to be careful with the basketball so as not to beat yourselves.
Indiana averaging 16.3 turnovers per game, and they force 16.8. Nolan driving inside, goes up and draws a foul. So Jones finding Pritchard. Indiana with a 7-1 lead early.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it sleet, freeze, rain, and then let it snow again. StabiliTrak Stability Enhancement, traction control, plus a 5-star crash safety rating. GMC Acadia. Now you can lease a 2010 GMC Acadia crossover for just $349 per month. See dealer for details.
Oh, and this one is tied up. Time out, Boston.
Man, I wish this game would never end. Hey, send it into overtime. Yeah, no problem.
The pass up to Hampton for the win. Oh, he loses control. This one is going into overtime.
Buffalo Wild Wings, you have to be here.
Oh, my.
Big Ten Super Wednesdays presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Matt Gatens and the Hawkeyes head to East Lansing, where Kalen Lucas and the Spartans will be primed for battle. Then, Manning Harris and the Wolverines face a tough road test in Madison against Trayvon Hughes and the Mighty Badgers. The excitement gets underway with the tip-off show. Big Ten Super Wednesdays presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Iowa, Michigan State, Michigan, Wisconsin. Coverage starts at 6 Eastern and high def only on the Big Ten Network.
See more than 200 live events in HD quality right on your computer screen with BigTenNetwork.com's live game streaming. In January, catch Big Ten women's hoops, wrestling, and men's and women's ice hockey. Sign up now at BigTenNetwork.com. Fridays, join Mike Hall and Jim Jackson for a celebration of everything that makes Big Ten basketball so special. Go on location before Saturday's biggest matchup. Big Ten Hoops on campus, Friday night at 10 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network.
And stay tuned after the game and go behind the scenes with the Big Ten's most intriguing programs and get access like never before. Tonight we follow the Badgers head coach Bo Ryan, Penn State's electric guard Taylor Battle, and Dot Fisher tells us the history of the Indiana and Illinois rivalry on the journey. Big Ten basketball 2010 tonight right after the game on the Big Ten Network. 37 years for Mr. Fisher as the public address announcer for Indiana basketball. And right now he has to be pleased with what he's seeing from IU. 7-1. Verdell Jones picked up his first foul here in the first half. 15:53 to go. Hoosiers with the lead.
You know, confidence plays such an important part in any basketball team's makeup, and right now this start, as I said earlier, couldn't have been any better for Indiana. The way they're playing, their confidence growing, the young players, and this crowd is into the game early.
Second free throw rattles down for Nolan, and that will allow Minnesota to set up their press. And we're going to see, starting right now, how does Indiana handle the pressure? Jeremiah Rivers, Jones. Remember, 3 guards on the court for Indiana. And Verdell Jones gets it over the midcourt line. And now they'll start their offense.
Not a bad job.
Tom Crean told us that he wants to make sure that his guys on the press catch it above the free throw line. They really want to get out. And then once they cross the half-court line, instead of pulling it back, they want to attack as Paul Carter picks up the foul.
You know, I think early on your mindset has to be break the press and get into your offense. Maybe later on, after you found some success breaking it, you can then begin to attack it, looking to score.
Jeremiah Rivers, great ball fake. He has it blocked. Watford can't hold on. Taken away. Bostic bounce pass. Nice diagonal play. Beautifully done as Minnesota's Paul Carter finishes on the break. Here's the turnovers now.
Careful with the pace if you're Indiana. This is what Minnesota wants.
Carter can't get it to fall. And a whistle.
Minnesota scores nearly 80 points a game. They do that off of defense. And you can see with the pace turning up just a bit on the block shot and then the turnover, they're off and running, getting those high percentage shots.
Colton Iverson picks up the foul. So now, Indiana inbounding. Turnovers, most in the Big Ten, 16 a game.
Tom Crean told me that they worked on taking care of the basketball in practice by going 5-on-8. And at times, Minnesota can make it seem like there's 8 guys out there with their movement, their long arms, their deflections, their overall defensive tenacity. They're very, very good. One of the best in the conference at this.
It's Tubby Smith signature. He did it at Kentucky. He did it at Georgia. He did it at Tulsa. And now Indiana. Dumas comes in the game, just fumbles the ball right out of bounds. That's 4 turnovers. Tubby Smith's team averages 18.6 forced turnovers per game. They only turn it over 13 times themselves, which is a low number.
Yeah. Gus, you know, if Indiana can't handle this, they're going to see it constantly. There will be no let up as long as they're turning the ball over and having issues with this pressure.
Iverson inside, jump hook, short, and a rebound. Pritchard snatching it down. Offensive rebounds also a concern for IU. They want to make sure they keep Minnesota off the offensive glass. Rivers. And he threw it away.
Remember what we said in the open. Minnesota, even when they're sluggish offensively, it's their defense that keeps them in it. Indiana's been sitting on that 7 for a long time.
7-4. 5 turnovers for IU. Carter, Damian Johnson with 2 fouls, so he's out of the game. Will probably miss the rest of the first half. DeVoe Joseph, the Canadian kid, comes off the bench. He can really score it, especially from the perimeter. Lets it fly. Carter with the offensive rebound. And a foul. And that'll be the second foul on Christian Watford, and he'll have to come out of the game.
Well, Minnesota's getting to that glass. You mentioned how tough they can be in that department. In fact, in the game in East Lansing, they started off sluggishly with the offense in that game, but their offensive rebounding was superb. And in fact, the Spartans had to play catch up to end up in a tie on the glass in that game.
And Carter again with a strong finish at the basket. Minnesota chopping into that lead now, 7-6. Daniel Moore is checked in at guard. He wears number 11, the number of the great Isaiah Thomas.
Somehow that number's got to find its way into the rafters.
There's no doubt about it. Dumas dumps it down, and a whistle and foul. Great penetration now by Dumas.
When Indiana's able to take care of the basketball, they have been able to get it inside a couple of times against Minnesota, forcing the Gophers to have to foul near the basket.
Colton Iverson picks up his second since Derek Elston, another hard-nosed freshman from Tipton, Indiana, to the line, gets the first. Rob Sampson the third coming in. Iverson takes a seat. So Iverson has 2, Damian Johnson has 2, Watford has 2 for Indiana. 13-17 to play in the first half.
Clearly, if Indiana can take care of the basketball, they can challenge inside, and they can continue to put pressure on the interior defenders and maybe increase the foul difficulty for Minnesota.
And now the changing of the defense.
Again, a little pressure and out high on the floor of their own. I like it.
So Joseph. Devron Bostic also in the game, and that ball is, reach-in foul coming up as Daniel Moore reaches in on Justin Cobb, but Tom Crean will take it. He likes the effort. He likes the intensity.
I like the decision to go right back hard and aggressively defensively if you're Indiana at the Gophers. You cannot allow them to be comfortable on their offensive end.
Whoa, Carter on the lob, almost got it. Gophers missed that one by a fraction.
Pretty good lob pass from that far away.
You played with a guy in college that was pretty good at lobbing the ball. His name was Magic Johnson.
Yeah, we called him EJ. And he didn't like it when he put it up there as well as that was, and you not put it down. Urban liked his assist.
Dumas around the corner. Look at Ralph Sampson, the third. Great defense. Wow. Dumas down the lane. Pretty teardrop. Indiana.
That was good defense. The offense was just a little bit better. Dumas able to create a shot for himself.
Ralph Sampson, the third, tied up. And jump ball is the call. The possession arrow favors the Gophers. Dumas, another player, they need buckets from him.
Well, he played last year, so he has that experience with him, but he got off to a slow start this year because of an injury. But he's starting to round in the form of late, and they could certainly use his experience, especially in high-pressured situations like this.
Dumas averaging 6 points a game. He's playing 16.6 minutes a game. He may get more run today, especially with Watford on the bench with 2 fouls. Williams, too strong. The freshman, Rodney Williams, very talented. His coaches say he's getting better on the defensive end. And a carry. Fernell Jones turned it over. 6 turnovers now.
That's another one of the unforced errors.
I don't know about that.
Oh, he cupped it. And that's a point of emphasis. I mean, maybe a few years ago you get away with that, but officials are looking for that type of stuff right now. Even though there was no advantage gained on it, they are calling it.
That's a bit much. Westbrook deep. Got it. Now don't let him get hot.
No, don't let him get hot. Michigan State will tell you that. He scored 10 in a row against them in East Lansing in the second half last week.
He's a 41% three-point shooter, 26 of 63. 11-9 IU. And a whistle and a bump up top. 11:30 to play first half. Indiana leading Minnesota 11-9. Back right after this.
The only thing better than seafood is enjoying it together. And right now, a complete seafood dinner for two is just $29.99 at Red Lobster. You both get a fresh salad and irresistible Cheddar Bay biscuits. 2 entrees from a menu of classic favorites and new creations. And your choice of either an appetizer or a dessert to share. Your favorite seafood with your favorite person. Just $29.99 for a limited time at Red Lobster.
We believe there's something to be said for setting goals and achieving them, for dreaming big and getting there, for hearing biological clocks and listening, for clocking long hours, sacrificing and succeeding, and for finally being able to say, welcome home. We are the independent agents proudly representing Auto Owners Insurance Company. Highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience. 2 years in a row by J.D. Power & Associates.
Don't miss wrestling on the Big Ten Network. The nation's toughest amateur athletes step onto the mat to compete in the sport's premier events. Find out who comes out on top. Presented by Cliff Keen Athletic. Only on the Big Ten Network. Before the ball goes up, you have to watch the Auto Owners Insurance Tip-Off Show. Our experts offer their take on the day's big matchups and tell you the keys to success for your school. The Auto Owners Insurance Tip-Off Show. Only on the Big Ten Network. Sunday nights, get caught up on hoops with This Week in Big Ten Basketball presented by Barbasol.
And the slam in impressive fashion.
Dave Revson, Jim Jackson, and Dan Dockich recap the highlights from this week's amazing action.
Everybody, and I mean everybody, got involved.
And offer the first look at the marquee matchups coming up next on the schedule. This Week in Big Ten Basketball, presented by Barbasol. Tonight at 7 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network.
So let's take a look at the Big Ten standings. How about Michigan State yesterday, basically destroying Illinois up by as many as 23. And the Spartans are ahead of the field as usual with a 5-0 record.
Gus, the biggest surprise as I look at those standings will be the Purdue Boilermakers. Winners of 14 straight games, get ranked in the top 5 and then lose 3 straight, including most recently to Northwestern. What has happened to the Boilermakers? Meanwhile, Northwestern surging as they try to get to the tournament for the first time in the school's history.
And Northwestern 2-3 in conference play. They have a big game coming up against Ohio State at Ohio State on Tuesday. How about Evan Turner? Man.
Evan Turner is the man. He can do everything, and he means everything to those Buckeyes.
Verdell Jones at the line. He has 3 points now. Indiana with a 12-9 lead.
To back up our point in the open, though, Gus, right now Minnesota shooting 30% from the floor, 3 of 10. But because of their defense, this is a 3-point game. They're in it on their defense. 7 turnovers to be concerned with if you're Indiana.
So both free throws good for Verdell Jones. Jeremiah Rivers comes back in. And against the press, what's the key? You just have to be decisive.
I think you have to move the basketball. It's hard to bring it up on the dribble, but I think if you spread the floor and keep it moving, that puts a little bit more pressure, and it allows you to attack looking to score, not just break the press.
Nolan Hoffarber, Rodney Williams, Ralph Sampson III, Westbrook on the court for the Gophers. Sampson III on the post, draws a double, and has it knocked out of his hands.
Worst thing you can do is put it on the floor when you're being crowded defensively. Sampson put it on the floor, got away with it though. Close to being stripped that time.
10 to shoot. Westbrook all the way out to Nolan. He draws Dumas. 7 to shoot. Westbrook around the screen. Off the heel. Rebounded by IU. And here comes Holmes. Dumas for 3. Got it. Hoosiers playing with the eye of the tiger in the first half. Nolan the other way. Inside, Sampson the third, and a whistle.
Quite the lift off the bench from Devin Dumas. Last year, averaged nearly 13 points a game, but I mentioned the knee injury that slowed him, cost him valuable practice time early in the season. He's been slowed around in the form, but he is getting it done right now.
So Ralph Sampson III, the son of the great Ralph Sampson, who played his college ball at the University of Virginia and played with Hakeem Olajuwon with the Houston Rockets. And his son, I tell you what, he's getting better and better every day.
Yeah, I think he's understanding how he can best be effective. He's serviceable offensively, but he can be a tower of strength on the glass and on the defensive end.
Ralph Sampson III also needs to work on those free throws. On the season, he's at 57% inside. And Indiana catches a break as Elston snatches down the rebound. Dumas again. Westbrook with the rebound, trying to knock it off of the Hoosier, and Dumas tracks it down. 16-10, approaching the 10-minute mark.
Dumas is playing like a leader right now.
Rivers pulls, Dumas curling, baseline, Pritchard, 16-footer no. Elston, excuse me, back to Pritchard. And finally, they get it before. Tom Pritchard and Elston banging down low. Largest lead in the game for Indiana, and they're on their feet at Assembly Hall. No fear in the eyes of this Indiana team. 18-10. Sampson the third off balance. And a foul.
If you're Indiana, you have to have the loose balls, and they're getting them. They're getting the extra opportunities because of their scrappiness and positioning down low. Pritchard got that started. Elston kept it alive, and Pritchard finished it. Gotta love the hustle, and you made a good point. They are not intimidated right now by the Golden Gophers and all of their defensive pressure.
There's Pritchard. Broad shoulders. And oftentimes teams take on the personality of their coach. Tom Green has risen in college basketball on his own. They haven't given him anything. Had an opportunity to learn from the great Tom Izzo. And now he has this Indiana basketball team playing tough on their home court. And a foul. Westbrook picks up his first. And now that will allow Westbrook. Remember this also, folks, 9:36 mark. Indiana shooting 1-1. Minnesota over the limit with their 18th foul.
Fouls are already a problem for Minnesota. And I think in the meantime, you've got the confidence of Indiana beginning to soar. They're feeling like they can go off the dribble. They can challenge people. And Minnesota may have to temper some of that aggressiveness because you do not want the Hoosiers living at the free throw line.
Rivers missing the second. Here comes Nolan with a hard push into the front court. But the Hoosiers get back. Nice defensive transition. Really pressing. Inside, Sampson III draws a triple team. And he is stripped. Jump ball is the call, and Indiana will get it back.
I mentioned that Indiana practiced 5-on-8 to try to mimic Minnesota's defensive pressure, but right now it looks like there are 8 Hoosiers out there. They're swarming to the basketball. Sampson in a crowd and unable to get the ball above his head.
Here comes Jordy into the front court, guarded by Hoffager. Watford back in the game. He's playing with 2 fouls. Young kid has to know how to play with fouls. 16-footer. Jeremiah Rivers, no. Loose ball. Look at Indiana go at it. Rivers again as Capobianco comes up with the rebound, and Dumas makes a play for 3. 8 points for Dumas. How about IU? Minnesota, I hope they didn't mark this as a road victory.
I think this is probably a game they felt like they could get on the road because of the inexperience of the Hoosiers, plus they're coming off a couple of losses. But this is why they play them.
Another turnover for Minnesota. Now Dumas will get it back to Rivers to run a play. 22-12, IU playing with reckless abandon.
And confidence.
And Dumas has been the catalyst. And you can see now they've relaxed. They're not as jittery with the ball. Dumas down the lane, the kick. Watford for three. Bang! Time out! Minnesota. 8:01 to play in the first half. Indiana up 25-12. This is Big Ten basketball.
Beautiful kick out here, the right decision. And all of the Hoosiers right now, Gus, are involved. Everybody on the floor is a threat to do damage. Unlike the case in Ann Arbor just a few days ago.
Now Sunday nights get caught up on hoops with This Week in Big Ten basketball. Dave Repson, Jimmy Jackson, Dan Dockage recap the highlights from the week's action and offer the first look at the marquee matchups on the Big Ten schedule. This Week in Big Ten basketball presented by Barbasol tonight at 7 Eastern only on the Big Ten Network. And how about this? Indiana, 8 of 15 from the field, 53%. They're 3 of 4 from the three-point line. And that is 75% shooting. Minnesota as a team, 3 of 12, 25%. 7:53 to play in the first half. 25-12. Now Nolan, not much of a threat offensively. Westbrook, their best offensive scorer, down the lane, dumps it down. Sampson the third, banks it in. Good play.
Minnesota's a good team. I mean, veteran team, and they're not going to be faced, and they're not going to be daunted by the deficit that they have right now, but they've got to be a little bit more consistent on the offensive end, and I like what Westbrook was able to do that time. Get dribble penetration, and he helped spoon feed his big man. He didn't put the ball in there, so Sampson had to make a play for himself.
Rivers, Hulls, Watford, Dumas, and Capobianco. 7 to shoot. Rivers has to hurry. Dumas, he'll shoot this one from Indianapolis. Whoa! He has 11. Dumas gives IU a 28-14 lead, largest of the game, and a foul up top. But how about Dumas putting in major work?
Gus, he really shows his range. Minnesota was in a zone that time, but they're going to have to extend it to get out there on that shot.
What will today bring? How will it surprise you? With wonder or worry? What we know is this day will come through for you. We're your 17,000 State Farm agents, and to us, nothing's more important than being there.
My name's Kelly Palmberg. I play water polo at Indiana University. I used to swim, and that's hard, swimming race after race individually. If you have a bad day, you're not going to swim very well, but being on a water polo team, you have 20 other teammates that make you want to try harder for them also. I just love being a part of a team. Big life, big stage, Big Ten.
On an all-new episode of The Journey, Big Ten Basketball 2010.
You're actually being creative. You're being someone who can choreograph, and coaches, that's what we do as teachers and coaches. All that was preparing me to do what I'm doing now.
What's at stake for Indiana is just pride. What's at stake for Illinois is the absolute necessity of getting some road wins if they're going to qualify for the NCAA tournament.
An all-new Journey after the game, only on the Big Ten Network. Basketball fans, see even more action online with BigTenNetwork.com's live game streaming. The excitement of the season continues right on your computer screen in HD quality. Don't be left out. Sign up now at BigTenNetwork.com.
Tuesday night basketball on the Big Ten Network. John Sherna and the Wildcats hit Columbus for a conference clash with Evan Turner and the Buckeyes. Tuesday night basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy in high def on the Big Ten Network.
Minnesota. Welcome back, 28-14. Indiana playing with tremendous energy as we take a look, especially on defense.
Here it looks like Sampson III has a single defender. But watch what happens when they move the basketball and get it to him down low. Defenders coming from everywhere, Gus. So he is in jail. Quadruple team and no place to go. Can't get it above his head. So if you're Ralph Sampson III, if you get that basketball, be cognizant of the fact that they're coming. You've got some kick-out options if 4 guys are guarding you.
Tom Green telling us today that his major concern was rebounding. Well, look at the rebounding numbers right now. Indiana out-rebounding Minnesota 16-3, 7-1 on the offensive glass.
Yeah, that speaks to the aggressiveness. In these parts, the Hoosiers will question a little bit for their effort. Folks are saying that they looked lethargic in Ann Arbor, and perhaps they did. And their pride a little bit on the line today. So they're coming out with all the passion, energy, and effort, and it is paying off big time right now.
Both free throws good for Nolan. Now Cobbs will check in. Nolan with 3 points. He heads to the bench, sets up the press. Capobianco to Rivers, hard push in the front court, baseline, Watford, one dribble, and breaks it in. That's the attack that they talked about when they get over the midcourt line.
Yeah, that time they weren't worried about just breaking the press. They were concerned with breaking it and attacking it and scoring quickly, and they did just that.
Watford playing with 2 fouls. Damian Johnson picked up 2 early fouls. He remains on the bench. 6:24 to go. Cobbs would back it up. Talented freshman, pick and roll. Cobbs. Joseph, the teardrop up and in.
Nice job. Joseph is quick, very fast with the basketball. And he can make plays for himself going inside.
Adele Jones the other way. Capobianco ties it up, and the possession arrow favors Minnesota.
Well, Minnesota needs the possession arrow right now because aside from Paul Carter, no other Golden Gopher player has a rebound. He has all 3 of their rebounds. They've got to do a better job team-wise on that glass or they're going to get smothered here.
Hoffarbor kicks it out. Joseph again thought about it. Dumas closes. Carter down the lane. Beautiful right-hand scoop. No. Batted around, who wants it? Watford outlet, Dumas. He's got Jones as a trailer. Leaves it. Rivers around the back. And a foul. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. These kids, they don't have as much talent, but they're playing with tremendous heart.
Well, these kids are maturing. And you really have to be impressed with the way they bounce back because they really had nothing to build on after getting blown out late at Michigan. I asked Tom Crean before the game, can you give me a read on your team's mental makeup? He says, hey, we will be ready. We practice hard. And Gus, the proof is right in front of us.
Jones with the free throw. He has 5. Carter picked up the foul. So Paul Carter has 2. Bostic back in. Here's Jones. Another one is good. 32-18. IU, 5:38 to play here in the first half. Ralph Sampson III looking for Capobianco, really denying him the ball.
Hoffarbor scored 27 on Ohio State, was limited to just 5 shots in East Lansing, and he can't get anything today.
Cobbs gets his own rebound. Out of bounds, and will stay right here. Hoosiers, though, so aggressive, going at everything. Testing everything.
They're helping each other. They're unselfish on the defensive end. Quick hands, making it very tough. Not a lot of activity inside for the Golden Gophers today so far.
And Bostic, his first basket of the game. Devron Bostic makes it a 32-20 contest. 5 minutes to play in the first half. Now the Hoosiers spread it out. Minnesota remaining in that man. Watford wants to take Bostic off the bounce, gets to the bucket. The runner had a foul. That's what he can do. Watford, he reminds me of you, Special K.
He's 2 inches taller, but he has that ball handling ability to where if you play up on him, look out, he can go by you.
As you take a look at the State Farm halftime report coming up, first half analysis. How about the big win for Michigan? And we'll preview the journey. But anyway, talking about Watford, he's got to get a guard like you had, maybe not as good as Magic Johnson, that can get him the ball in his sweet spot.
Oh, that'd be heaven if he had someone like an Urban Magic Johnson passing him the basketball, making the game a lot easier. But for right now, I really like what he's doing. You know, he's picking up a lot of slack from some of the injured Hoosiers that have not been available. Guys like Marcus Crick, the very talented freshman who may miss the remainder of the season. Maurice Crick, I'm sorry, who may miss the remainder of the season. Roth is out as well. They don't know if he'll be back.
And Joseph strong to the basket. Wanted an and one, won't get it. 33-22. Rivers the other way. Tough break for Indiana, losing Maurice Creek. Average close to 17 a game, one of the leading freshman scorers in the country. Now Dumas directing traffic, kind of getting on his guys. Rivers 13 to shoot. Dumas drives to the bucket. No call, out of bounds. And Cobbs swatted it from behind.
Dumas is very aggressive. And with the shot clock winding down, you want a guy who can put it on the floor and make something happen.
Verdell Jones, the inbounder. Dumas, 6 to shoot. Again, straight away. And that time, out of bounds. Didn't have his legs under him that time. 3:59 to play first half, 33-22. Indiana leading Minnesota here in Bloomington.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it sleet, freeze, rain, and then let it snow again. StabiliTrak Stability Enhancement, traction control, plus a 5-star crash safety rating. GMC Acadia. Now you can lease a 2010 GMC Acadia crossover for just $349 per month. See dealer for details.
The other energy drinks I was using, they're way too big, way too much sugar. It's insane. 5-Hour Energy is the complete opposite. There's no sugar and there's no crash. Way smaller package. I can just take it as a shot or 2 quick gulps when I'm on the phone talking to customers on the East Coast. I gotta be alert, I gotta be awake. Don't even consider all the other drinks. There's no contest. It's 5-Hour Energy all the way. I definitely get a perk of mental energy for sure. I'm just quicker. 5-Hour Energy is my go-to drink.
Crime is a part of our daily reality. Fortunately, there are professionals dedicated to the pursuit of justice. The ITT Technical Institute School of Criminal Justice offers a program that emphasizes theory, research, and practice in the study of criminal justice. This program offers students a foundation in criminal law, legal procedures, criminal evidence, and criminology. Graduates can pursue career opportunities involving cybersecurity, community corrections, and private investigations. Why wait any longer? Call now and help make this a safer and better place. ITT Technical Institute School of Criminal Justice, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-488-3652 or visit us on the web.
Let's take a look at our 5-Hour Energy Energetic Fan Cam. And a very energetic effort from this Indiana basketball squad this afternoon. 33-22, IU with the lead, under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Dumas, huge first half for IU. He has 11 points on 4 of 7 shooting, including 3 of 5 from the three-point line. Nolan along with Sampson the third. Colton Iverson is checked back in. He has 2. Westbrook. And also DeVoe Joseph. Inside, Iverson jump hook. Got it going.
That was very well done by Iverson, and I'm surprised that he didn't find all the defensive pressure around him. The Hoosiers pulling it off just a little bit and allowing him to go on a single defender, and Iverson was able to pay it off.
Now Minnesota getting back into his zone. They're going to try to hide some of those players with 2 fouls.
Question is, can they rebound out of this zone?
Holes. Now Jones, extra pass. Blocked by Iverson. Pritchard didn't need to take that extra dribble.
That killed him, you're right.
Iverson the other way.
Had he gone right up with it, he would have put a lot of pressure on Iverson to defend or foul.
Westbrook, no, but Pritchard with the rebound. Pritchard's done a nice job rebounding. He has 5. Rivers penetrating. It's got to be a threat to score the ball, though. Holes off the bounce. Inside, Watford! Power jam! 8 points, 35-24. Indiana really moving it around.
Great patience on the half-court offense.
Sampson the third with the offensive rebound and a foul inside.
You know, this young team has really settled down in terms of taking care of the basketball. It's been a while since they had a turnover, and you got to really like the bouncer inside. And Watford able to get it done again.
Awfully hard for Minnesota, Greg, to set up that press when they're 8 for 21 from the field. And they usually set it up after made field goals. Sampson the third missing. And a travel on the baseline for Holes.
It's getting to the point now, I think, where if you're Indiana, you're inviting that pressure because it's giving you opportunities to exploit it on the run. Such as the confidence that grows when you break it a few times.
Dumas checking back in as well as Elston. So Watford goes to the bench, does a nice job. He played for a considerable amount of time with 2 fouls. And he didn't pick up his third, so he'll get into the locker room and come back out fresh with only 2 fouls.
You know what he did? He just earned more trust from his coach. The fact that I can put you out there with those 2 fouls and expect you to still get the job done and not get into further foul difficulty.
Hoffarber with a great look, and he makes his first basket of the game. 35-27, Minnesota back in that zone. Watch how Indiana moves it around. And a foul as Dumas looks like that was a chip block by Cobbs. Justin Cobbs picks up his first. Watch this.
Just want to let him know you're here. Can't underestimate the impact of losing Damian Johnson if you're Minnesota to 2 early fouls. And Gus, you said, you know, we might not see him the remainder of the half. They miss him on both ends of the floor.
Dumas making the first. Very good free throw shooter at 77%. Second free throw good. He has 13 points. Remember, he averages 6 a game. 37-27, Indiana. 1:40 to go. Sampson the third, double teamed across the lane and draws the foul. And this will go against Tom Pritchard. Don't forget, coming up, stay tuned for the State Farm halftime report. We'll have first half analysis, look at that Michigan win over Connecticut, the 15th ranked team in the country, and also preview the journey. Tom Pritchard with 3.
You can certainly see the respect that Indiana has for Sampson. When he gets the ball with his back to the basket, they're doubling and triple teaming him. Where a moment ago, when Colton Iverson got it inside, they left him with a single defender.
So Ralph Sampson III has 8 points in the first half. 37-29.
He's had to work for every one of them.
Dumas. Jones. Rivers pick and roll. Rivers steps back, 17-footer. Off the back rim. And Verdell Jones there for the rebound and a reach-in foul on Hoffarber. his first. And that'll send Verdell to the line to shoot 2.
You know, Gus, what I'm seeing is right now with Minnesota and their lack of defensive rebounding, they're not putting a body on anyone on the interior, and those long rebounds are all going to the Indiana guards.
Rodney Williams now coming in as Westbrook heads to the bench. Westbrook with only 3 points in the first half. Second free throw good. 1:09 to play. 38-29 IU. Here comes Cobbs. He's got a lot of run here in the first half. Driving, hanging, and somehow got the bank. Beautiful.
Nice job, nice job. Helped immensely by the screen up top from Iverson. Iverson eliminating a defender.
Dumas off balance that time. And a foul.
Watch this screen by Iverson right there. He takes care of Jones, and that allows Cobbs to get all the way to the basket and finish off the window.
So Ralph Sampson III back at the line again.
You know, when you hear people talk of unselfish basketball, I look at things like that. What Iverson just did, set a nice screen. You don't get a statistic for that, Gus, but it's so important to winning basketball.
9 points for Sampson III, and right now, Minnesota earning their money at the free throw line. They are 11 of 15 from the stripe.
You gotta be careful if you're Indiana. You know, you've dominated this half, or so it seems, and you've only got a 5-point lead. That could be a little disturbing if I'm Tom Crean.
Once again, another foul, and Verdell Jones. And that is Iverson picking up his 3rd foul.
I'm sure the topic of conversation in the Minnesota locker room at halftime will be rebounding, something that they did not do in this half at all, and the foolish fouls that they're committing.
Yeah, Bostic comes in, replaces Iverson, who picked up his 3rd. At the end of the first half, Jones again, free throw shooting important. He has 9. IU 13 of 19 from the free throw line. Shot clock and the game clock about the same. 40-33. Minnesota attacking the Indiana zone. Hoffarber, lob it. Rodney Williams, no. He gets his own rebound. 8 seconds. Cobbs, 4 seconds. Baseline, Williams, and buries it. The freshman with a cold-blooded jumper.
It's a good thing he missed the lob, right?
That's right. So at the end of the first half, we have a 40-36 game. Minnesota finishes on a 16-7 run. Now let's go to the Big Ten Network studios and Dave Revson.
Hey there, folks, and welcome to the State Farm Halftime Report. Rick Pizzo playing the role of Dave Revson. Tim Doyle playing the role of Tim Doyle because really no one else can do it. It's a 4-point game at the break. Minnesota making a nice late run, but early on, Tim, it was all Indiana. What did you see from the Hoosiers in the first half?
Well, the Hoosiers, as custom, what they're used to doing is throwing the ball away, and they did that early in the game. A lot of turnovers. When they held on to it, Rick, they got some good shots, and 7 turnovers in the first 8+ minutes, but they were able to get good looks, and Devin Dumas off the bench. He's been a spark plug. 13 first half points. Shoots that shot from Knicks in downtown Bloomington. The Hoosiers, I don't think could have played better in that first half, and maybe that doesn't spell good for the second half, as the Gophers are a team like the Hoosiers that love to wake up with their down comforter and SpongeBob pillow. Love to play at home, have struggled on the road, and in this game just getting outworked by a smaller Indiana team. 21-9 on the boards. IU's got 8 offensive rebounds. We see here just outworking the taller, longer Gophers. And if you're Minnesota right now, you should be happy you're only down by 4 points. I think Tubby needs to come out, start putting pressure on the guards, causing some turnovers, because right now, Minnesota in the half-court offense, very stagnant, can't seem to get Blake Harfarber going, need to get more offense from their defense.
And certainly need to do better work on the boards. IU crushing Minnesota right now, and they're rebounding a 21-9 edge on the glass for the Hoosiers. Much more coming up after the break. Huge win for the Big Ten earlier in the day. Michigan knocking off UConn. We'll show you the highlights, and TBD breaks down how the Wolverines do it when the State Farm Halftime Report returns.
Does your phone surf the web? Does your phone surf the web with the speed and power of a pro surfer at Pipeline? Does it bring you the web in all its glory, in all its intended pixels, allowing you to reach the farthest expanses of its universe, deepest depths of its oceans, without getting as much as a grain of sand in your shorts? Droid does. Wave-shredding web speed. In a world that doesn't, Droid does.
Right now, buy a Droid and get a Droid Eris free. Sunday nights, get caught up on hoops with This Week in Big Ten Basketball presented by Barbasol.
And a slam in impressive fashion.
Dave Revson, Jim Jackson, and Dan Dockage recap the highlights from this week's amazing action.
Everybody, and I mean everybody, got involved.
And offer the first look at the marquee matchups coming up next on the schedule. This Week in Big Ten Basketball, presented by Barbasol. Tonight at 7 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network. Fridays, join Mike Hall and Jim Jackson for a celebration of everything that makes Big Ten basketball so special. Go on location before Saturday's biggest matchup. Big Ten Hoops on campus, Friday night at 10 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network.
Big Ten Super Wednesdays presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Matt Gatens and the Hawkeyes head to East Lansing, where Kalen Lucas and the Spartans will be primed for battle. Then, Manny Harris and the Wolverines face a tough road test in Madison against Trayvon Hughes and the Mighty Badgers. The excitement gets underway with the tip-off show. Big Ten Super Wednesdays presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Iowa, Michigan State, Michigan, Wisconsin. Coverage starts at 6 Eastern and high def only on the Big Ten Network.
Wrestling fans, see even more action online with BigTenNetwork.com's live game streaming. The excitement of the season continues right on your computer screen in HD quality. Don't be left out. Sign up now at BigTenNetwork.com. This is the Big Ten Network.
Coming up right after the Indiana-Minnesota game, it's a brand new edition of the Big Ten's Series Journey 2010. Go behind the scenes with longtime Hoosier radio announcer Don Fisher. In this preview of what you'll see tonight, Fisher talks about what it's been like for him to be part of IU basketball for the better part of 4 decades.
I still am old school, so I use a 635 microphone. If I could put it together right, it'd be really good. You know, you're led along a certain path in this life, and I've been as fortunate as any man in the world. I've had a chance to spend 37 years essentially as a college student. How good is that?
Well, the journey that has been Michigan's season on an upswing Sunday against UConn. First half, Michigan up by 6. Manny Harris coming up the steal to Lavelle Lucas-Perry, who stops, pops, and drains the 3. Part of a 17-2 run for the Maize and Blue. Wolverines up by 9, and then it's Harris straight down the lane for the throwdown. Harris had 18. Michigan goes into the locker room up by 9. Second half, 4.5 to play. 2-point game. Gavin Edwards off the pick and roll. That's high percentage. We're tied at 54. Buck and a half to play. Tied at 58. Harris, the kick. Zach Novak, biggest bucket of the game. He had 10. Michigan up by 3, and then one of 17 UConn turnovers. Harris puts it away. Michigan goes on to win this one 68-63. Back now with Tim Doyle. Huge win for both the Wolverines and the Big Ten Conference as a whole. This could do huge things for Michigan as we look down the line of the Wolverines trying to get back to the NCAA tournament. What did they do Sunday against UConn?
Well, they didn't shoot the ball well, and that's not uncommon for the Wolverines, one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country. But they went out there and played with a certain energy, a certain passion, turned UConn over 17 times. Rick, in this game, Michigan only shoots 37%, but they end up winning this game because it was the defense of John Beilein's team, and then they made plays down the stretch just enough because this game was nip and tuck, back and forth the whole game. Novak banged for three, and then Harris comes up with that steal, and they put that game away. But life does not get any easier for the Wolverines. At Purdue and Michigan State, the next 3 games for Michigan, a tough road. I don't think they're going to get in the tournament this year because their strength of schedule and their RPI is not as good as it was last year. They don't have those marquee wins like they did over Duke last year and UCLA and so on. But a very dangerous team, and today got some balance. It wasn't just the Sean Sims and Manny Harris. They had some help for once, and that's why they came away with a win in this game.
We know one thing will change by the end of the month. The strength of schedule that you mentioned, not too difficult. With those teams in the list, at least their strength of schedule will definitely improve by the end of January. Still to come on the State Farm Halftime Report. After the break, it's Timmy D's keys to victory in the second half between Indiana and Minnesota. Stick around. That's on the way in mere moments.
There for you and your guilty pleasures.
Don't miss wrestling on the Big Ten Network. The nation's toughest amateur athletes step onto the mat to compete in the sport's premier events. Find out who comes out on top. Presented by Cliff Keen Athletic. Only on the Big Ten Network.
My name is Doris Taylor from the U of M. I believe if you give nature the tools and get out of the way, anything is possible. Our team discovered how to wash the cells from a non-living heart, inject it with living cells, and make it start beating. Imagine organs built from a recipient's own cells. You could be your own donor. So the search continues.
On an all-new episode of The Journey, Big Ten Basketball 2010.
You're actually being creative. You're being someone who can choreograph, and coaches, that's what we do as teachers and coaches. All that was preparing me to do what I'm doing now.
What's at stake for Indiana is just pride. What's at stake for Illinois is the absolute necessity of getting some road wins if they're going to qualify for the NCAA tournament.
An all-new Journey after the game, only on the Big Ten Network. Before the ball goes up, you have to watch the Auto Owners Insurance Tip-Off Show. Our experts offer their take on the day's big matchups and tell you the keys to success for your school. The Auto Owners Insurance Tip-Off Show, only on the Big Ten Network. See more than 200 live events in HD quality right on your computer screen with BigTenNetwork.com's live game streaming. In January, catch Big Ten women's hoops, wrestling, and men's and women's ice hockey. Sign up now at BigTenNetwork.com.
Rick Pizzo, Tim Doyle back with you on the State Farm Halftime Report. Indiana by 4 at the break. How about some second half keys?
Well, for the Gophers, they got to get Blake Harfarber involved. 15 points a game in wins, 3 points a game in losses. He had another quiet first half. And for IU, they had a 14-point lead in this first half. Hoosier fans, do not get mad at me. I think you're in trouble in this game. They're going to have to win the first 5 minutes. It's going to be the whole key to the game.
15 bench points for Indiana in the first half, 13 coming from one man, Devin Dumas, shooting the lights out in Bloomington as the Hoosiers lead at 40-36. Gus Johnson and Greg Kelser take you home after the break.
Oh, and this one is tied up. Time out, Boston.
Man, I wish this game would never end. Hey, send it into overtime. Yeah, no problem.
The pass up to Hampton for the win. Oh, he loses control. This one is going into overtime.
Buffalo Wild Wings, you have to be here.
Oh, my.
When Dr. James Naismith invented the game of basketball, players weren't allowed to dribble. Thus, the passing game was born.
Big Ten Super Wednesdays presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Matt Gatens and the Hawkeyes head to East Lansing, where Kalen Lucas and the Spartans will be primed for battle. Then, Manny Harris and the Wolverines face a tough road test in Madison against Trayvon Hughes and the Mighty Badgers. The excitement gets underway with the tip-off show. Big Ten Super Wednesdays presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Iowa, Michigan State, Michigan, Wisconsin. Coverage starts at 6 Eastern and high def only on the Big Ten Network.
The all-new BigTenNetwork.com, your home for hundreds of Big Ten video highlights. Sign up for text alerts and find out when your school will be featured on any Big Ten Network show. Interact with your favorite Big Ten Network personalities and shows on Twitter and Facebook. And download our podcasts to take the Big Ten Network with you wherever you go. The new BigTenNetwork.com. Log on now.
Big Ten Network Basketball Sunday is presented by Oberto Beef Jerky, who reminds you to eat like an alpha. And brought to you in part by GMC. We are professional grade. By Peak. When you peak, you win. And by Auto Owners Insurance. Get to know the independent agents representing Auto Owners Insurance, keeping everything you value safe, sound, and secure. Welcome back to Bloomington. Our halftime score, Indiana with a 40-36 lead over the Golden Gophers. And welcome back, Gus Johnson along with Greg Kelser, Special K. You have to give a lot of credit to this IU team for how scrappy they played in the first half.
I give them all the credit because it was necessary in order for them to stay in this game. Gus threw it all, though, in a testament to how difficult it is to win in this league. All of this is going to have to repeat itself in the second half. Look at them work off the glass. Pritchard involved. Derek Elston in there doing the job. I never expected Indiana to dominate the way they did in that first half, especially on the glass. But only a 4-point lead. I still say that's a bit of a concern for me if I'm Tom Crean.
That's right. Indiana led by as many as 14, only 4 at halftime. As we take a look at today's game leaders presented by Auto Owners Insurance, and you look and see that Ralph Sampson III did a nice job at the free throw line with 10 points. And for IU, Dumas playing with so much confidence. He averages 6 points a game, had 13 in the first half. They'll need a similar performance from him in the second half. And then you have Verdell Jones with 9 points, 8 free throw attempts. So coming up, it's the second half from Assembly Hall. Indiana will see if they can hold on to the lead, up 40-36.
Tuesday night basketball on the Big Ten Network. John Sherna and the Wildcats hit Columbus for a conference clash with Evan Turner and the Buckeyes. Tuesday night basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy in high def on the Big Ten Network.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Big Ten Conference and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Big Ten Conference.
On an all-new episode of The Journey, Big Ten Basketball 2010.
You're actually being creative. You're being someone who can choreograph, and coaches, that's what we do as teachers and coaches. All that was preparing me to do what I'm doing now.
What's at stake for Indiana is just pride. What's at stake for Illinois is the absolute necessity of getting some road wins if they're going to qualify for the NCAA tournament.
An all-new Journey after the game, only on the Big Ten Network. Don't miss wrestling on the Big Ten Network. The nation's toughest amateur athletes step onto the mat to compete in the sport's premier events. Find out who comes out on top. Presented by Cliff Keen Athletic, only on the Big Ten Network.
This month on Fox Movie Channel's Life After Film School, John Landau, producer of the 20th Century Fox film Avatar.
The goal of any narrative story is to immerse the audience in the story you're telling. There's nothing more immersive than a 3D experience.
Only on Fox Movie Channel.
You're watching the Big Ten Network.
Start of the second half. Indiana with a 40-36 lead and the basketball. Verdell Jones, Watford, along with Jeremiah Rivers. Here's Watford on the baseline. That one off the mark, save him going out of bounds, but right to Nolan. Here comes Nolan pushing it into the front court. Hoffarber wide open. In and out. Capobianco with the rebound. Wide open. Passes up on the three.
He did that a couple of times in the Michigan game too, Gus. Passing up the open shots, I'm sure Tom Green would like him to take. He has the ability to knock them down.
And this time he'll take it. And hit it! That's exactly what you said, partner.
Maybe that will help his confidence grow. He's in the game for his shooting ability. You may as well shoot it, right?
That's right. Bobby Capobianco from Loveland, Ohio. Westbrook, Damian Johnson, who got those 2 early fouls back in the game. Nolan changed his shot. Watford cleared it. 5 rebounds for Watford. Verdell Jones, in and out. Baseline 12-footer, short. Hoffarber, diagonal pass. Nolan held bent to the basket. Rejected by Rivers. Westbrook, and he answers. But good hustle by Jeremiah Rivers.
Well, we told you Rivers is a good defender. He got back, got that block. Unfortunately, he blocked it right to a Gopher, but was able to knock the shot down.
43-38, Indiana looking for their second win in conference play. Here's a pick and roll. Watford slips to the basket. Verdell Jones leads in, 13-footer, draws a foul. But watch the block by Jeremiah Rivers.
Nolan thinking about dunking, elevating, rejected that time by Rivers. You always like to block it and try to keep it in bounds, but then the hope is that one of your teammates can get the carom and it doesn't end up in the hands of your opponent.
So Verdell Jones at the line. The foul was called on Hoffarber, who picked up his second. First free throw good for Jones.
I like Jones and I like Watford. Both guys can put it on the floor and they can create their own offense, which makes them very difficult to handle defensively one-on-one.
11 points for Verdell. Nolan the other way. Off balance, no. Jeremiah Rivers with the rebound. On the break, here comes Rivers, the kick. Holmes, rising fire, and hits! Wow. Indiana. The Hoosiers have it going so far, 48-38. This crowd is into it as well.
You said it in the first half, I'll say it now. They are not afraid to run on Minnesota.
Westbrook, only 3 points in the first half. Has that one deflected. Ralph Sampson the third picks it up. And travels. Oh, they give him an offensive foul.
Ooh, that's worse.
That is worse. And that is his second.
Here, Ralph Sampson's going to try to improve his spot right here.
Look who's down there guarding him, Jeremiah Rivers.
He got the elbow in the face. He paid the price, but he got the turnover.
Rivers showing the kind of toughness that his dad had when he played at Marquette for the Atlanta Hawks. Jones down the lane. Gets it back. They throw it right to Hoffarber. Cobbs in early in the second half. Hoffarber lefty off the bank, and it goes down. Nicely done by Minnesota.
That's Hoffarber's second field goal make of this game, but he needs to shoot the ball more.
Holmes almost turned it over as Capobianco bails him out. The key for Indiana, according to Coach Crean, they have to play better during the last 6 minutes of the game. That's the entire ball game for them. Holmes on the skip pass. Downtown. Got it. Jordan heating up. 51-40. Westbrook the other way and answers.
This is a good basketball game. Both teams taking shots at the other.
51-42.
Hulls comes into this game. Jordan Hulls averaging 5 points a game, but you can see with his shooting ability, he's capable of far more than that.
Watford guarded by Johnson. That's a great matchup. Here's Hulls quick around the screen.
He's wearing a bullseye now after knocking down those jumpers.
7 to shoot for Rivers. Guarded by Cobbs. 4 to shoot. Kicks it out. Capobianco just throws it at the basket. Whoa! The Hoosiers are living right. Hoffarmer from downtown. Johnson rebound and stick back.
That's why Johnson has to be on the floor. He's an offensive rebounding threat. He's a threat to score out of the post. He's a good defender, and they missed him on the glass.
53 to 44. Subs getting ready to come in for IU. Capobianco facing on Sampson III, who has 2 fouls. Watford, beautiful entry pass, and Banker.
That's great movement off the basketball. When Watford caught it, he was in a position to score.
55-44 IU. Pick and roll, Westbrook stops in no man's land. Westbrook, he's in trouble. 3 seconds. 55-44, they're on their feet at Indiana. Capobianco. Sometimes you need to be a little lucky, and Coach Creed will take it.
Coach, 先ほどのプレゼン最高でした。ありがとうございます。ああ、なんか評判良かったみたいな。ええ、全くその通りです。ああ、ここは。僕ですか。トイレ行ってくる。それいいですね。あ？何？何？お前も行くの？ああ、お願いします。
Don't be a sidekick. Eat like an alpha.
There for you when you're in a tight spot.
Yes. No. Okay. Yes.
Before the ball goes up, you have to watch the Auto Owners Insurance Tip-Off Show. Our experts offer their take on the day's big matchups and tell you the keys to success for your school. The Auto Owners Insurance Tip-Off Show, only on the Big Ten Network. Sunday nights, get caught up on hoops with This Week in Big Ten Basketball, presented by Barbasol.
And the slam in impressive fashion.
Dave Revson, Jim Jackson, and Dan Dockage recap the highlights from this week's amazing action.
Everybody, and I mean everybody, got involved.
And offer the first look at the marquee matchups coming up next on the schedule. This Week in Big Ten Basketball, presented by Barbasol. Tonight at 7 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network.
Live this month on Fox Sports en Espanol. Experience the most thrilling soccer tournament in the U.S. Interliga 2010. Tiro, tiro, goal! 8 Mexican teams. 7 intense days. 2 passes to the Libertadores at stake. Don't miss all the action.
¡Golazo! ¡Qué buen centro!
Interliga 2010. This month on Fox Sports en Espanol.
The United States Marine Corps salutes Bobby Capobianco, today's leader of the game.
Well, he worked hard to help on the glass in the first half. In the second half, he's decided to shoot the basketball, launching right there to 3, and then the deuce to beat the shot clock. 5 quick points. And he is making a difference right now.
He'll take a blow on the Hoosier bench right now as Tom Crean brings in some substitutes. Derek Elston is back in, as well as Tom Pritchard. Pritchard with the ball right now, joined by Holes, Riddell Jones, and also in the game, Daniel Moore. Very important for this group on the floor for Indiana to not lose the lead.
Absolutely. They've got to play with the same poise and purpose that the others have.
Riddell Jones in the corner. Holes inside, rebound, and step back for Tom Pritchard. Right place, right time. 57-44 IU.
He's playing possessed right now. He just wants that basketball more than anybody else. Time and again, you're calling Pritchard's name underneath that basket. Here's the shot, the air ball. It lands in Pritchard's hands. He's very strong with it, And we told you before the game started, he scores on putbacks and offensive rebounds, drop-offs.
That's exactly right, and that's what he has done thus far. 7 points for Pritchard on 3 of 4 shooting. Sampson III in the post, across the lane, in and out. Verdell Jones goes up high. We're seeing the guards do a nice job rebounding today for Indiana. Jones and Jeremiah Rivers, they scoop it inside, and Derek Elston with the finish. He has 4. 59-44 Indiana, largest lead of the game. And a whistle. Tubby Smith, he doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what to do. Who are these Hoosiers? 13:54 to play in the second half. IU with a 59-44 lead.
You got some sun today. I can't believe you're still alive.
Sorry I ruined your day, man.
Oh, it's not a big deal. You just gotta learn to bend your knees.
You cleared it so easy, you know.
Who do you think you are? Me? Oh.
I wish I was.
Don't be a sidekick. Eat like an alpha.
I tried the other energy drinks, and what made me switch was the size of the drinks kept getting bigger and bigger. I just wanted energy. I didn't want to get bloated. The 2 ounces of 5-Hour Energy really does make a difference. With the other energy drinks, it was kind of a sugar high. I felt on edge, and that's not what I'm looking for before I go on a mountain bike ride or a run or a swim, and I never felt that with 5-Hour Energy. It gave me a boost, and the boost lasted, and I never crashed. It gives you that sense of alertness. Nothing works like 5-Hour Energy.
There for you and your guilty pleasures.
Does your phone surf the web? Does your phone surf the web with the speed and power of a pro surfer at Pipeline? Does it bring you the web in all its glory, in all its intended pixels, allowing you to reach the farthest expanses of its universe, deepest depths of its oceans, without getting as much as a grain of sand in your shorts? Droid does. Wave-shredding web speed. In a world that doesn't, Droid does.
Right now, buy a Droid and get a Droid Eris free. Fridays, join Mike Hall and Jim Jackson for a celebration of everything that makes Big Ten basketball so special. Go on location before Saturday's biggest matchup. Big Ten Hoops on campus, Friday night at 10 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network.
You know, these young Hoosiers are making a lot of good decisions with the basketball. We want to show you the difference between what happened in the first half. Remember when Sampson was collapsed on defensively? He couldn't get rid of it. Watch Verdell Jones as he gets in the middle right now. Against the Golden Gophers, they're going to collapse on him with 3 defenders, but he smartly sees that defense coming, shovels it off to Elston. Elston able to put it in unimpeded. This is a smart basketball play. They take care of the basketball. They've been doing this a lot, Gus. Everybody on the floor is a threat to do damage, and it's working right now for the Hoosiers.
And does it help even more, Greg, when you see that a guy like Verdell Jones got the rebound and got it up the floor before the defense could really get set?
Absolutely. You know, all in all, they have been quicker. Their anticipation has been much better throughout this game, and that's why they're leading right now.
Rodney Williams, nice pass by Ralph Sampson III. He is a very solid passer. Williams now with 5 points. That sets up the press. Now Daniel Moore, sophomore from Carmel, Indiana. Running the point. Jones around the corner, inside. Maybe not the wisest pass. It's knocked away by Hoffarber. Johnson the other way. Johnson posted now, 11-footer. Got it.
Nicely done. Minnesota able to score quickly out of the timeout, and then off of their defense, cutting a 15-point lead to 11 in 2 possessions.
Cobb's almost coming up with the steal. Remember, this second unit on the floor can't lose the lead for him. We talked about that.
They've got to get through this stretch And then, of course, they got to get through the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Daniel Moore comes out of the game. He did a solid job. Now Jeremiah Rivers back in. Iverson gets ready to come back in for Minnesota. Pritchard, Elston, Verdell Jones, and Dumas on the floor. Really good lineup for Tom Crean here, especially off dribble penetration. The bigs, as you mentioned, are nice finishers, Pritchard and Elston. Let's see if they look to keep the big fella's hands full. 10 to shoot. 6 to shoot. Jones, the teardrop. There's Elston, couldn't lay it down. Almost did, and an elbow. Whacking Dumas, and he picks up his fourth. He'll have to head to the bench again. And he did that recently to somebody.
He did that last week in the game against Michigan State to Derek Nix, flatten Nix, trying to clear space. The same thing. Now, here's the deal. They did not throw him out of the game, and they won't throw him out of this game, but I think there's going to perhaps be some conversation with Iverson and those high elbows. Now, 2 games in a row, he's flattened someone, putting an elbow in the face.
Elston comes out, Watford back in, 12:38 to go. New shot clock for IU. Dumas. Look at the versatility of Jones. He can play the 2 guard, he can run the point.
Well, you mentioned that it's a nice lineup on the floor, and it is, because you've got guards that can handle and penetrate. If the clock winds down, you've got people that can make things happen off the dribble. And you got your rebounder down low in Pritchard.
Watch Rivers. He's been posting up a little bit. Dumas deep. Loose ball. Who wants it? Picked up by Sampson III.
I'll tell you what, Pritchard's getting his hands on everything that comes off. He may not come down with it, but he certainly is a threat.
Joseph jump shot, and good from deep.
It's a nice little answer after falling down by 15, a 7-point run by the Golden Gophers.
59-51, Minnesota. Trying to get back in this game. Jones, Watford's got to look for the ball, or they got to find him. Dumas with the step on the baseline, skip pass for Joe Jones, 10 to shoot. Watford. Dumas deep, rejected by Williams, out of bounds. Rodney Williams swatting it with 4 on the shot clock. 11:23 to play, 59-51, Indiana, but here come the Gophers.
The road is tough, your spirit's strong, driving one and on. Cloche of America, Cloche Barbasol. America, you're looking good, handsome, free and tall. Cloche of America, Cloche Barbasol, Cloche Barbasol.
The only thing better than seafood is enjoying it together. And right now, a complete seafood dinner for 2 is just $29.99 at Red Lobster. You both get a fresh salad and irresistible Cheddar Bay biscuits. 2 entrees from a menu of classic favorites and new creations. And your choice of either an appetizer or a dessert to share. Your favorite seafood with your favorite person. Just $29.99 for a limited time at Red Lobster.
On an all-new episode of The Journey, Big Ten Basketball 2010.
You're actually being creative. You're being someone who can choreograph, and coaches, that's what we do as teachers and coaches. All that was preparing me to do what I'm doing now.
What's at stake for Indiana is just pride. What's at stake for Illinois is the absolute necessity of getting some road wins if they're going to qualify for the NCAA tournament.
An all-new Journey after the game, only on the Big Ten Network. The all-new BigTenNetwork.com, your home for hundreds of Big Ten video highlights. Sign up for text alerts and find out when your school will be featured on any Big Ten Network show. Interact with your favorite Big Ten Network personalities and shows on Twitter and Facebook. And download our podcasts to take the Big Ten Network with you wherever you go. The new BigTenNetwork.com. Log on now.
And stay tuned after the game and go behind the scenes with the Big Ten's most intriguing programs and get access like never before. Tonight we follow the Badgers head man Bo Ryan, Penn State's electric guard Taylor Battle, and Don Fisher tells us the history of the Indiana and Illinois rivalry on the journey. Big Ten Basketball 2010 tonight right after the game on the Big Ten Network. I'm sure Tom Crean wishes that the journey was over with his team leading 59-51, but he's got 11 minutes and 23 seconds left.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for them to grow because this is not going to be easy down the stretch. You already see the fact that Minnesota's fighting back once down 15. It's an 8-point lead now, so work to do still for the Hoosiers.
Jones firing, loose ball squirts out of bounds, and they are going to give it to Minnesota. (59-51), 7-0 run for the Gophers over the last 2.5 minutes after trailing by 15. Sampson the third inside to Hoffarber. He can't hold on. Loose ball. And this time, jump ball is the call and favors the Gophers. But Capobianco hustling.
Hoffarber was open, and this is the right play, right pass by Sampson, but because of the active defense that the Hoosiers have been playing, they got the deflection.
Rodney Williams turnaround jump shot, and he's fouled. And that's the second foul called on Verdell Jones. This kid Rodney Williams, so much talent. He's played in 16 games with 4 starts, only averaging about 14 minutes per game as he misses the first free throw, but his coaches say that he had to learn how to play some defense. And the only way you play if you have Minnesota is to defend. He averages 6 a game. Second free throw good. 59-52. Williams right at his season average at 6. Dumas.
Minnesota zoning, they've showed that a couple of times in this game.
Watford has it blocked, picked up by Williams.
Excellent recovery, Gus.
Looks like Damian Johnson was there. Bounce pass, Williams, whoa!
Well, that, folks, is one of the conference's best leapers. I mean, he can get up there and stay up there. Indiana fortunate that this wasn't an and one.
He took off just a bit too soon.
He's got the hops, though. He was trying to punish the rim. I think without the contact down low, he would have got there.
And he misses the first free throw on the season. Rodney Williams, a 63% free throw shooter, came into this game 14 of 22 from the stripe. He's 1 for 3. Make it 1 for 4. 59-52. Hull's back in. He's hit some timely baskets. Pritchard double team. Nice interior pass to Watford. And a whistle. Looks like a foul coming up against Ryu.
All throughout this game, the Indiana Hoosiers have moved well off the basketball. Here, Watford making himself available on the pass from Pritchard. Only a foul stopping the layup.
Hull's inbounding. Pritchard. Minnesota playing a zone, 2-3. In the corner, Watford deep. Air ball. Indiana now tightening up a bit.
Well, they're stuck on 59. They've been there for quite some while as Minnesota and their defense allowing them to creep back into this game.
Ball kicked. Watford out of bounds, 16 to shoot, under 10 to go. Remember, the last 6 minutes, this Indiana basketball team has struggled.
Well, it certainly was the case at Michigan. That was a 5-point game with 5 minutes to go. Michigan able to go on a 20-2 run to end that game and make it look like a blowout. It was far closer than that.
IU was led by as many as 15. Carter, 7 to shoot. Sampson the third off the back rim. And a whistle. And this foul will go against the Hoosiers. A hold. And it is the third foul for Watford. New shot clock for the Golden Gophers. Carter sails off. Hoffarber right there. Can't bank it. And Verdell Jones. Remember, the guards continue to rebound well. As Jones pulls that one down. Dumas, big jump shot. Rims off. Watford, a rebound, and he's fouled.
If Minnesota fails in this comeback effort, they will remember the 3 missed free throws by Williams. They'll remember the missed layup by Hoffarber just a moment ago. And the Hoosiers continuing to work off the glass. They're going to have a high number offensive rebounding-wise when this thing is over.
Watford close to an 80% free throw shooter. He's at 79%. Rivers back in. 9:08 to go. And he gets them both. Watford with 12 points. And 7 rebounds. 61-52. Sampson the third, power dribble, tried to jam it, and is fouled. Boy, he got some great position down low.
Well, he is one stoic individual. Sampson the third, his expression does not change at all during the course of the game. But he was tenacious on that dunk attempt. He wanted that basketball, and then he attacked the rim.
And he misses the first free throw. Pritchard picked up his 4th foul and checked out. Capobianco comes into the game. Minnesota as a team, 12 of 19 from the free throw line. Make that 12 of 20 now, 60%. Second free throw goes down for Sampson the third, where he is 8 of 12 from the stripe today.
A lot of distraction shooting into that backdrop, Gus, but you must be able to hit your free throws, especially when you're trailing, trying to get back into the game. We mentioned Williams missing 3, Sampson getting a split there. They need everything to go right now.
Why are the Gophers playing zone?
I think they're playing zone again to try and cut down on some of the... Good question, good question, Gus.
Watford bangs it down. Sampson the third the other way with a beautiful jump hook. 63-55.
I think they're trying to cut down on penetration, maybe again save some of the interior fouls from some of their inside people. They've done a nice job of extending that zone. They're not giving up the 3-point shots that they were giving up in the first half.
Holmes, baseline, Jones deep. Pure! Timely buckets for IU. And the Hoosiers take a 66-55 lead. They're standing up again here at legendary Assembly Hall. We've got a ball game, folks. Sampson the third, muscling, fires, and he's finding his rhythm.
Yes, he is. Well, you know what's happening right now? They're not doubling on him quickly enough. They got the ball out of his hands in the first half. Here in the second half, Sampson is able to catch it, turn, and go to work.
15 points for him. And a reach-in foul from behind by Joseph. But Watford, so talented. A great finisher. Bam! 66-57. 7:20 to play in the second half. Indiana trying to hold on.
We believe there's something to be said for delivering on promises and for restoring disruption as quickly as possible, because it's not really about the stuff. It's about your family, your life, and theirs. Every policy from auto owners is sealed with a handshake from an independent agent that knows you and lives in your community. Welcome to a common sense approach to insurance. We're independent agents proudly representing Auto Owners Insurance Company. Highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience, 2 years in a row by J.D. Power & Associates.
Oh, and this one is tied up. Time out, Boston.
Man, I wish this game would never end. Hey, send it into overtime. Yeah, no problem.
It's the pass up to Hampton for the win. Oh, he loses control. This one is going into overtime.
Buffalo Wild Wings, you have to be here.
Big Ten Super Wednesdays presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Matt Gatens and the Hawkeyes head to East Lansing, where Kalen Lucas and the Spartans will be primed for battle. Then, Manning Harris and the Wolverines face a tough road test in Madison against Trayvon Hughes and the Mighty Badgers. The excitement gets underway with the tip-off show. Big Ten Super Wednesdays presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Iowa, Michigan State, Michigan, Wisconsin. Coverage starts at 6 Eastern and high def only on the Big Ten Network.
See more than 200 live events in HD quality right on your computer screen with BigTenNetwork.com's live game streaming. In January, catch Big Ten women's hoops, wrestling, and men's and women's ice hockey. Sign up now at BigTenNetwork.com. Don't miss wrestling on the Big Ten Network. The nation's toughest amateur athletes step onto the mat to compete in the sport's premier events. Find out who comes out on top. Presented by Cliff Keen Athletic. Only on the Big Ten Network.
Big Ten Network Basketball Sunday is presented by Oberto Beef Jerky, who reminds you to eat like an alpha. And brought to you in part by State Farm. To us, nothing is more important than being there. And by Verizon Wireless, America's largest 3G network. Welcome back. Let's take a look at today's Verizon Wireless connection of the game. Jeremiah Rivers for Indiana with 7 assists. None better than this one.
This is a terrific pass inside. And Watford on the impressive finish. We said all game long they have done a nice job of moving without the ball, making themselves available for those high percentage opportunities. None better than that one.
66-57 Indiana. Now Rivers taking his time. He only has 2 points. Runs a pick and roll. Baseline. Nice look up. Tapped up Watford. Capobianco couldn't finish. Gets it again and draws a foul. Bam!
You know, Tom Green is part of Tom Izzo's coaching tree. And Tom Izzo's teams often rebound the ball with great pride and effort. You're seeing that today. If things doesn't change for the Golden Gophers, Indiana's going to end up with over 20 offensive rebounds in this game.
And before the break, Indiana had 14 offensive rebounds to only 7 for Minnesota.
Well, add 2 more to it. They've got 16 now.
How about 17 as Watford pulls that one down? And that was a concern for Green, keeping Minnesota off the offensive glass, but his team has gone out and dominated. But the big question is, as we approach the 6-minute mark, can they hold on and keep their composure? Jones to the bucket, rejected. That's goaltending as Rodney Williams caught that on the way down. Now Super Wednesday presented by Buffalo Wild Wings gives us another exciting doubleheader. First, the Hawkeyes travel to East Lansing to take on the 8th ranked Spartans. Then Michigan battles number 16 Wisconsin. Coverage starts at 6 Eastern with the tip-off show Wednesday at HD on the Big Ten Network. 68-57 Indiana. 6:33 to play, second half. Minnesota with their 4th road game in conference play. Loose ball. Look at the Hoosiers diving. Capobianco, Rivers, Hulls. And a whistle in the backcourt.
What? There's a foul call and it's going on number 23, Gus.
It looks like
Bobby Capobianco
tried to trip somebody.
And they had a 4-on-2 break going. That's big.
Williams. Joseph. He's been in most of the second half for Nolan. Stop and start. Carter, he's left-handed. Drives to a strong hand. Offensive foul. Whipple slid in. Smallest guy on the floor. Holmes. But let's try to look at the Capobianco foul.
Right here. That was action, 2 guys on the floor, and it was totally unnecessary as the ball had already changed hands. Indiana was in the midst of a break, and it got taken away.
68-57. Rivers inside, nice catch. Pritchard rejected by Sampson III. Joseph to Carter, bam! Wow. Paul Carter, the elevator man, 68-59.
We said that Rodney Williams is one of the highest leapers, but Carter's no slouch.
Deep waters now for IU. Holmes driving, wraps it around, out of bounds, and will stay right here.
You notice when Minnesota goes man-to-man, that's when a lot of penetration occurs for the Hoosiers. There's that nice pass running the middle of the floor. It's tough to get a pass in that particular situation because of the lack of an angle, but Minnesota was able to pull it off.
Hoosiers have led by as many as 15. Up 68-59 now. Pritchard, he's been excellent. 6 to shoot. Holmes trying to free himself. Lets it go. Watford there. Squirts out. Boston 4-on-2. Skip pass. Boston steps back. Lets it go. And that's a brick. Jeremiah Rivers with the rebound.
A very poor shot. Lack of patience on the part of Boston.
Now they'll run some clock. 68-59. Time on the side of the Hoosiers. But they have to stay aggressive.
They still have some work to do. They're in that zone, that danger zone for them this year.
Pritchard showing his ability to handle the ball. Rivers posting. Great passer out of this position. Watch it. To Pritchard. And that's an offensive foul.
Oh, yeah, the minute he put his head down. That'll be the easiest call of the evening right there, folks.
And young players not realizing that he's got the ball in the paint.
Yeah.
You don't even need the dribble. Shoot the ball.
Elevate, put the pressure on the defense. That would have been a great move on the gridiron.
That's right. First down. Pritchard, 7.6 rebounds. Played with a lot of grit. This entire Indiana team has played with a lot of grit.
I think what Tubby Smith has to tell his guys is that there is no need to rush. 4-14 is a long time. You've got it inside of 10 points. If you just execute your offense, work off the glass, you'll get your opportunities. Most importantly, you've got to get back and defend and rebound on the missed shots from Indiana.
Big jump shot for Joseph. 9 points now.
See how smooth that was?
Ooh.
You know, right out of the offense.
68-61. Holmes.
If I'm Minnesota, I'm not gambling on the defensive end because I don't want to break down and allow something going back door.
Minnesota getting out of that zone. And a foul. Westbrook trying to deny an entry pass to Dumas. And he fouls him. Second foul on Westbrook. 68-61. Indiana with the lead. 3:38 to play in the second half.
Let it snow. Let it snow. Let it sleet, freeze, rain, and then let it snow again. StabiliTrak Stability Enhancement. Traction control, plus a 5-star crash safety rating. GMC Acadia. Now you can lease a 2010 GMC Acadia crossover for just $349 per month. See dealer for details.
I like working with electronics because, ever since I was little, I've always wanted to know what was going on inside those components. The responsibility I have with all this expensive equipment, the respect I get from all my clients, and I get to travel a lot. We sell broadcast consoles, audio codecs, anything for on-air radio. My dad is very, very proud that I got my degree and that I'm actually have a job that I enjoy a lot.
I think these days kids have to have a good education. Coming to ITT Tech was very good for his future.
I'm a lot better off now.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. Call 1-800-488-3652 or visit us on the web. Get an education that can help you reach your goals. ITT Tech has information on financial aid for those who qualify. Call 1-800-488-3652.
Hey there, folks, and welcome into the Big Ten Network studios. Rick Pizzo with you. Get you back to Bloomington for the finish between Indiana and Minnesota in just a second. But first, a reminder what's coming up later here on the Big Ten Network. Immediately after the game, it's a brand new edition of The Journey, Big Ten Basketball 2010, followed by This Week in Big Ten Basketball presented by Barbasol. But first, business to tend to in Bloomington. Back to Gus and Greg with some news on an interesting foul call just before the break. Fellas.
Welcome back. Indiana 68-61 over Minnesota. So Lawrence Westbrook and Dumas both got teed up. Double technicals, a little trash talking going on. Very competitive. Keep your eye on these guys.
Now the foul has been called, but the conversation continues.
And then the official comes in and gives them both technical fouls. Curtis Shaw doesn't want that kind of talk on the floor, especially at this time of the game. But Minnesota with 10 team fouls, IU with 8, so Dumas will shoot 2. The entire Indiana team in the double bonus now will shoot 2 from this point on.
Dumas has done a nice job, especially in the first half, off the bench.
Dumas with 13 points. And actually, that's Capobianco. He's fouled out. And standing corrected here, trying to figure out, according to the statistics, Minnesota has 10 team fouls, but that was 1 and 1 for Dumas. And now Capobianco heads to the bench. 9 team fouls now against Indiana. So Carter at the line. And he gets the front end.
You're talking about a 2-possession game now. And the clock becomes a non-factor for either one of these teams. Minnesota can afford to settle back and play solid D, even if they have to do it for the entire 35 seconds, looking to get that all-important stop here. You do not want to foul in this situation.
3:18 and counting. 68-62. Holmes has been great today. Shaky entry pass, though, there for Watford.
And now with 8 seconds on that clock, the ball needs to be in someone's hands who can create, either for himself or a teammate.
68-62. We'll take a timeout here. Stay tuned. After the game and go behind the scenes with the Big Ten's most intriguing programs and get access like never before. Tonight we follow the Badgers head coach, Bo Ryan, Penn State's electric guard Taylor Battle, and Don Fisher tells us the history of the Indiana and Illinois rivalry on the journey. Big Ten basketball 2010 tonight, right after the game on the Big Ten Network. So both teams ready to come back onto the floor. As we take a look, each team with 3 timeouts, 10 team fouls for Minnesota. So that means Indiana should be shooting in the double bonus. It seemed as if they should have been shooting in the double bonus with Dumas with that at the line, but he only shot 1 foul shot.
I'm wondering if the 10th foul was the technical. And the foul had occurred prior to that.
Watford batted out. And it's a shot clock violation.
Ooh, that was close. Joseph nearly touched that basketball, but the official was right there, says he did not. So the exchange of possession, Minnesota with a chance to cut into the 6-point lead. 3 minutes and 1 second to play.
A lot of time left for Minnesota as Nolan taxis the ball into the front court. Hoffarber, Sampson III has been excellent. Elston is guarding him as they swing it to Nolan. Joseph has hit some very big, timely shots. Sampson III, power dribble, and draws contact. They're getting him the ball with great position.
He's working hard to get that low box spot, and they're being patient, allowing him to get it, and then they're getting him the basketball.
Sampson III, 15 points, 4 rebounds. He's 9 of 13 from the free throw line. Make it 10 of 14. Minnesota and Indiana. Second free throw good as well. 68-64 now. The Gophers set the press up. Rivers try to beat it by himself, and he does. Holmes.
Indiana needs to go back to being aggressive, looking to score, which is how they got the 68 points that they have right now.
Watford has been their go-to guy, along with Verdell Jones.
And it's been a while since Watford has touched it.
8 to shoot. Jones has it, fires off the front rim, no. The rebound to Carter. 2 minutes to play, 68-64. White knuckler here in Bloomington. Nolan. They're going to go back to Sampson III. He's been excellent. Carter drop step off the glass to Banker, and we've got a 2-point game.
Well, Gus, you called it. You said that 6-minute stretch, and this is deja vu for these Hoosiers.
But let's see if they could do it differently this time. Tom Crean calls a timeout, 25 on the shot clock, 1:35 on the game clock.
Well, Minnesota's got several go-to guys, and Carter has played really well for them in this game. Again, off the bench, you mentioned Sampson on the other block. Just an excellent move, the drop step, protects it with his body, pulls his team to within 2. The bench is excited, and this baby is still hanging in the balance, folks.
9 points, 8 rebounds for Paul Carter. Let's reset it for you. Minnesota with 3 timeouts. Indiana with 2. Each team should be shooting in the double bonus.
Indiana's gone several possessions without Watford touching the basketball, and he's the one guy I think Minnesota fears most in this situation.
Watford tonight with 14 points, 8 rebounds. On 5 of 9 shooting. He's only taken 9 shots.
Yeah.
They got to keep his hands full. Here's Rivers. 20 to shoot. Big possession here. Watford, the handoff. Jones. 10 to shoot. Jones lets it fly off the back rim. Out of bounds. And we'll stay right here. Indiana gets a new 35.
The problem for Minnesota throughout this game has been their inability to block out. It's been a jumping match throughout the game, and then losing that jumping match off the defensive window.
108. Holmes. Hoosiers will milk this clock. Under a minute to go. They've been up by as many as 15. Looking for their second win in conference play. They beat Michigan. 10 to shoot. Rivers. Jones pops out. Baseline. And a foul. Derek Elston will go to the line, but remember, he's a 55% free throw shooter.
But they did a nice job of milking that clock and then getting it inside. Elston strong with the catch. He'll get a chance to make this a 2-possession basketball game.
Big free throw there. 69-66. Damian Johnson back in. Joseph heads to the bench. Gophers don't need a 3. And he misses the second. Carter with a rebound. Here comes Nolan. 38 seconds to go, and he calls a timeout as he gets it into the front court. 38.8 to go. 69-66 Indiana. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. And don't forget, stay tuned after the game as we go behind the scenes with the Big Ten's most intriguing programs to get access like never before. Tonight, Bo Ryan, Penn State's Taylor Battle. Don Fisher tells us the history of Indiana and Illinois, the journey. Big Ten basketball 2010 tonight, right after the game on the Big Ten Network. And what a game it's been. Indiana playing one of their best games of the season, 69-66, leading by 14 at one time, 15 at another time. But the Gophers reel them in. But let's go back to the Big Ten tournament. Gopher fans and Indiana fans, remember Blake Hoffarber winning the game on this last-second shot. A turn and throw, a shot put. Tubby Smith was excited.
Well, he's a clutch player. Going back even further in high school, he hit a shot sitting on the seat of his pants.
That's right.
From the baseline to help his high school team win a tournament game. The thing for Minnesota right now, you mentioned it, with 38 seconds to go down 3, they don't need a 3. You can keep pressure on Indiana by getting the ball inside. Sampson would be a great choice, but he has to be aware that a double team may be coming and be quick enough to get rid of it and kick it out. But I would certainly look inside first if I'm Minnesota.
Minnesota 4 for 10 from the three-point line today if they elect to go for 3. 29 on the shot clock. Joseph driving, stops, fades, and hits.
Nice.
And we have a 1-point game, 30.9 to go. 11 points for Joseph off the bench today. 69-68.
Once again, Gus, there's something to be said about a guy who can put it on the floor and make it happen. Here, Joseph does that. And he does this over the 6'9" Wofford. He makes it happen. And it keeps the pressure now on the Hoosiers. At the very least, they're going to have to make some free throws to keep a gap between themselves and the Gophers.
But more than that, Indiana is going to have to figure out how to get the ball inbounds and maybe get it over the midcourt line before they're fouled. That will be the challenge for them.
Yeah, it's going to be some serious pressure, I would imagine. And if you're Minnesota, if you foul trying to get a steal or trying to knock it away, so be it. You're going to need a foul eventually anyway. So this could be very interesting.
Indiana has turned it over 14 times this evening, or this afternoon, excuse me. They average 16 turnovers per game. So Verdell Jones will throw it in bounds. Watford, Rivers, Elston, and Holmes. Here's Rivers. He's got to get it over the half-court line. Rivers! And he does. Barely. Jones and a foul.
Barely.
Wow. And we just talked about it. Ooh. But now free throw shooting. Indiana 19 of 29 from the free throw line today. They have the right man at the line. Jones is 9 of 10. And he gets the front end. On a made free throw, Minnesota still doesn't have to go for 3.
Does not have to go for 3 with 22.7 to go. But you want at least a cushion so that the worst that can happen is you get tied by a three-pointer on this free throw.
Oh, he missed the second. Ooh. Here we go. Ooh. Nolan into the front court, and he calls a timeout. With 17.4 to go. Now Minnesota has an option. What is the rule? Do you go for the win on the road, or do you go for the tie?
Well, I think with 17 seconds to go, I'm still going to look to get the ball inside. And if something were to surface on the outside, and I've got a shooter out there that I like like a Blake Hoffarber, then I go for the 3 and I rebound the basketball with everything I have. But if you're Minnesota, you got to like this spot. After being down by 15, you've got a legitimate shot here of winning this basketball game.
And you just wonder, Tubby Smith has always been great at coming up with plays out of timeouts. You know that Ralph Sampson III, he's been getting great position inside, and he's also, keep this in mind, Ralph Sampson III is a terrific passer for a big man.
Don't forget Lawrence Westbrook, who has been pretty much quiet in this game. He can be key in a situation like this, both inside that arc and out.
Sampson III with 27 assists on the season. Westbrook is a 41% three-point shooter. Here we go. Shot clock turned off. Minnesota playing for 1. Joseph, step back, jumper, and buries it. And we're tied at 70. And a timeout called by Indiana with 8.9 to go. And the Hoosiers will be inbounding the ball on the sideline. Right where the ball was when the timeout was called. But watch Joseph.
Joseph, we talked about him earlier. He's being guarded by a man 6 foot inches taller, but it doesn't matter when you're able to dribble yourself into a position. You'll get a little bump for separation, and no one's going to be able to guard you on the fadeaway. He's hit 2 huge baskets that tied this game up. And Gus, I hate to say it, but I think the Indiana Hoosiers somewhat killed their own momentum, backing out, protecting that lead, while Minnesota was chipping away, and here we sit, tied.
Neither team has gone into overtime this year, and this is the first tie of the game with 8.9 to play. So let's see what Tom Crean has in his bag.
Well, for sure, this should be the last offensive possession for either team in regulation. If you're Tom Crean, you got to be telling your guys, I want the shot in the air at the sound of the horn. I'm not even sure I want to take the risk of trying to shoot it quickly so that I can offensively rebound it. I'll take my chances in overtime if I can't get a shot to go.
Hoosiers will be inbounding in the backcourt. According to the officials prior to the timeout.
What a game. What a game. It certainly had its ebb and flow, hasn't it?
Certainly has, Special K. 8.9 to go, 70-70. Holmes will serve as the inbounder. Rivers, Watford, Jones, as well as Derek Elston, the freshman. Holmes, Rivers, knocked away! Nolan!
Oh, he stepped
and they say he stepped on the sideline out of bounds. with 7.7 to go. Nolan. Almost an incredible steal, and Tom Green calls another timeout.
Boy, how good is Nolan?
Holmes has to throw a better inbound pass than that.
He's got to. He's got to be absolutely certain. Especially with Nolan, the Big Ten's leader in steals, creeping around.
Tubby Smith with that pressure as we take a look at the game reset. Both teams out of timeouts without a foul to give.
Minnesota, I like their aggressiveness defensively in this situation, but the last thing you want to do is commit a foul here. So this could be very, very interesting.
They got to figure out, Indiana, how to get the ball in bounds, because the pressure is going to be incredible from this Minnesota team. So now, let's see who throws it in. It won't be Holmes. It'll be Watford. Paul Carter guards the ball. All 6'8" of it. Rivers over the half-court line. Rivers drives, stops, kicks. Watford off the back rim, no! And we're heading for overtime in Bloomington. They got a great look.
Excellent look, and the guy you want taking the shot, Watford, just a little long on it, a little strong. And we get to enjoy this some more.
No doubt about it. If you're Minnesota, you'll definitely take it.
Yes, indeed. Down 15. They push it. Get it to the man who has not had many touches in the last 5 or 6 minutes. You can't ask for any more than that if you're Indiana, other than put it in.
Great look at the basket for the freshman Watford. And we are heading for overtime here at Assembly Hall. Game tied at 70. First time these teams have gone into overtime this season, and we'll have it for you right after this on the Big Ten Network.
On an all-new episode of The Journey, Big Ten Basketball 2010.
You're actually being creative. You're being someone who can choreograph, and coaches, that's what we do as teachers and coaches. All that was preparing me to do what I'm doing now.
What's at stake for Indiana is just pride. What's at stake for Illinois is the absolute necessity of getting some road wins if they're going to qualify for the NCAA tournament.
An all-new journey after the game, only on the Big Ten Network.
Welcome back. Gus Johnson, Greg Kelser, final 7.7 of regulation.
I couldn't have drawn it up any better. The mini penetration, the kick out from 14 feet for Watford. One of my best offensive performers. He's just a little long on it, but you certainly can't question the call.
So we go to overtime, and Minnesota doing just a great job chipping away at that 15-point lead and coming back to tie it at the end of regulation. Devote Joseph, really a spark plug for this squad. He'll start overtime. Coming off the bench, Joseph with 13 points on 6 of 8 shooting and 3 assists. Watford and Ralph Sampson III with the jump ball, and it's controlled by the Gophers. Nolan, Carter, Joseph, Sampson III, Hoffarber.
They'll start this overtime session by Indiana.
Watford, Elston, Ferdell Jones, Rivers, and Holes for IU. Indiana starting in that zone. Watford, big, tall, and with a great wingspan is the point man, Joseph, and buries a 3.
He's on fire now.
Wow.
He's not even feeling the pressure of the situation anymore.
16 points.
You know what he did just then? He took what was there. Indiana's zone was slanted, trying to wall him off. They didn't want the ball to go to the right side of the floor, so he just stepped out and took it because that's what they were allowing.
And now Ralph Sampson III is fouled out, picking up his 5th. .17 points, ties his career high. Take another look.
That's a critical call right there. That's a loss that Minnesota can ill afford right now. The presence he presented inside, posting, working on the glass, plus his defensive presence. We mentioned the third leading shot blocker in the conference. They're going to have to get it done without him now the rest of the way.
So Colton Iverson replaces him. Jones makes the first. 17 points, 5 rebounds for Jones as Sampson III takes a seat. Jones another free throw, short-armed it. 71 points for this Indiana squad. Minnesota though with the lead. IU gets back into that zone.
Once you commit to one side of the floor against this zone, they like to try to keep you on that side and not allow you to reverse the basketball.
Hoffarber, quick release. Air ball, Joseph there, can't lay it down. Joseph somehow gets a rebound and a new shot clock for Minnesota. Joseph. Nolan penetrates, kicks. Joseph again. Yeah!
How many is that on the road for him? The last 10 points of this game?
He has 19. 76-71. Jones now. And Jones is fouled. Stops the clock and go to the line with 3:07 to play in overtime.
Joseph hit the 2 buckets needed to tie the score, and now he's hit 2 triples in overtime. How clutch has DeVoe Joseph been today?
Paul Carter, meanwhile, picks up his 4th. Verdell Jones, big free throws. He's 11 of 15 from the free throw line. Indiana as a team, 21 of 33, 63%.
You cannot panic if you're Indiana in this situation. You still have plenty of time.
And somehow Jones gets his own rebound. He missed that one so badly. But the ball bounces out and he tracks it down. Hoosiers got to figure out a way to score though. Rivers inside, up and in.
There you go. Nicely done on the find. But that's the way they have been playing prior to the last 6 minutes. They were aggressive, attacking, pushing the ball inside. And then they stopped doing it for a long time.
Joseph, he's been hot. They got to press him. He's got in the gym range now, DeVoe Joseph. Nolan driving. And a foul.
Here's the drive. Nolan taking that lane that was available, and some dissension afterwards inside by the by the Indiana players. They're kind of getting on each other a little bit. The frustration of letting the lead slide away.
Verdell Jones thought he had help, forcing him to the baseline side. And I don't think Elston got over in time. Nolan. Second free throw, no. Who wants it? Nolan tracks his own rebound down and steps on the baseline. Does he? No, foul
on Elston. Remember all those long rebounds? Remember all those loose balls that Indiana was coming up with? Well, the tide has certainly turned because now it is Minnesota getting to all those 50-50 balls.
And Nolan with a soft touch at the line. Team rebounds.
Here's the long rebound, and Nolan wanted it a little bit more. He got to it, and there's your foul by Elston.
Second free throw. Wow, what a rebound. That time by Wofford. He went above the rim and cuffed it.
Made a statement there.
78-73. Jones. Rivers crosses over in the corner, holds. Nolan quick on him. Elston fires. Jones is there and a foul. He's fouled. And that may be it for Paul Carter. I think that's his 5th. And it is. So Carter is fouled out. Ralph Sampson III is fouled out for Minnesota.
Once again, just very difficult for Minnesota to block people out. It's been anybody's ball off the window. And now attrition setting in for these Golden Gophers, who you might feel Tubby Smith thinking they need to win it now in this overtime period, because the second overtime, Gus, he may not have any players left on the inside.
And if you're Indiana, your players have to know what the foul situation is. 2 players have fouled out, but Iverson has 4 and Damian Johnson has 4. And both of those players are on the floor right now as Verdell Jones, who missed his last 2 free throws, at the line. And gets the front end. 19 points, 12 of 17. What a game. Overtime here. And he gets a pair. Now Tom Green wants the Indiana crowd to get up on their feet.
How about
and they do. 78-75. This is Big Ten basketball, folks. Joseph. Baseline. 1:44 to go. Definite and Assembly. Hall. Nolan down the lane. Running right-handed. Tapped up. And that's going to be basket interference. Indiana still with a chance here. Tubby walks away from it.
Nolan has had a really hard time finishing near that basket. And I'm not so sure that would not have gone in.
Rivers, Holmes, Elston, Watford, Jones. Rivers. Jones pulls up, buries it. 78-77, 1-point game. Overtime, 20 points for Jones. Hoosiers playing their hearts out.
They really are. And there's something to be said about being aggressive. They've returned to that, and it's allowing them a chance to stay alive in their effort to win this game.
Johnson, guarded by Watford. Rivers guards Joseph. He drives, stops, up, no, rebound, IU. 40 seconds, here comes Jones. Pulls up, no, dishes it down. Out of bounds with 37.6 to go. An instant classic, folks. 28 on the shot clock. Holds the inbound. Jones. Turnaround jumper. Oh, he hit it! And the foul! And look at his place. Assembly Hall. Tom Green bringing it back.
I think these players are learning something about themselves, and maybe even Tom Green is learning something about his players. He's allowing them to just go. They found their offensive rhythm again. This is something that they didn't do, and that's why Minnesota was able to get back into the game and force an overtime.
And Tubby Smith is going to call a timeout. He missed the free throw, 79-78. 24.9 to go. Minnesota can play for one shot. Verdell Jones.
What did we say about guys who can put it on the floor and make things happen? Jones created that shot for himself. Was strong enough to play through contact. He gets the and one, wasn't able to complete it, but that put his team back in the lead.
This game was tied at 70 at the end of regulation. Indiana at one time led by 15. But the Gophers reeled them in. Minnesota getting some big baskets by DeVoe Joseph in overtime. But somehow, this Hoosiers team, 2 threes for Joseph in overtime, but it has been Verdell Jones, who has a career high that has guided this Indiana team right back into the lead.
Well, if I'm Indiana in this situation, I'm going to try really hard to keep the ball out of the hands of DeVoe Joseph. He's proven to me that he can knock down clutch shots and that he can go one-on-one. So I want to try and force it to someone else. Let's take another look at Jones on his little fadeaway while being guarded by DeVoe Joseph. He's got to like that. But when this team is assertive, when they're aggressive, that's when they played their best tonight. When they became somewhat complacent and lethargic, if you will, offensively, trying to hold on to the lead, that allowed Minnesota to get back in it.
But the key now is for Minnesota, trailing by a penny, 79-78. What do you run here? What kind of defense do you think Tom Preen is going? He's been using that, what, 1-2-1-3-1 zone or 1-2-2 zone.
Yeah, it's a 1-1-3-2 or 1-2-2, certain variations of it. But I think in this situation, it probably challenges guys to go one-on-one. Try not to get beat off the dribble. Again, try to keep it out of the hands of Joseph if at all possible. The main thing you have to do, though, when that shot goes up, block out and try to get the rebound on the miss. If I'm Minnesota, I want to go quickly, though. I don't want to waste too much time. I want to go quickly in case I need to foul and I need another possession. So I'm not going to take this thing all the way down.
So what do you take it down to? Maybe 10?
No, I think you go immediately. You go to your offense. But, you know, if you were tied, you'd hold it. But you're down one. You may need another possession or even two in this game. So you go with it.
Okay. Hoffarber, the inbounder, Bostic, Nolan, Damian Johnson, and Joseph for Minnesota. Hoffarber, the inbounder, holds, guards the ball. Here's Nolan. He's great penetrating. Bostic, Hoffarber, Joseph. 19 seconds to go. Joseph backs up. Clears it. He's going to go one-on-one with Rivers. Joseph, 12 seconds. He's going to do or die here. Joseph, drive, step back, jumper, off the front rim. Watford with the rebound. And he fouled. Indiana, 4.3 away. Defense by Jeremiah Evans. He made him take a tough shot.
Gus, this is why I say you go earlier. You go earlier on the miss, you get another possession and you have time. Now, you've only got 4 seconds and it's not like the NBA where you get to take it out at half court. You got to bring it the full length of the court. And 4 seconds is not a lot of time.
Watford, 3 of 4. Free throws. This next one, huge. Watford 14 and 10, third career double-double. And he gets it.
Good.
4.3 to go. Minnesota needs a 3 to tie it up.
Wouldn't you like to have about 6 more seconds?
Well, you are so right about that, Greg. You do want to go early.
When you're trailing, you got to leave yourself at least the opportunity to have some time on a final possession. They've got their final possession. They're still within 1 shot of tying the game. But 4 seconds, 4.3 seconds is not a lot of time. You got to bring it the length of the floor.
No timeouts remaining for either team. As the Grateful Dead would say, Minnesota needs a miracle. And today's Oberto Alpha Player of the Game is Verdell Jones III. 24 points, 7 rebounds, 13 of 19 from the free throw line.
We had fun today, didn't we? It looked like it anyway.
Yes.
Well, the threats out there on the floor for Minnesota: Al Nolan, Blake Hoffarber, DeVoe Joseph.
Damian Johnson will throw it in bounds. Hoffarber, watch him, he's on the right wing. Johnson to Joseph, 3 seconds. Joseph in the front court. He lets it go! Off the back window! Indiana wins it. 81-78 over Minnesota. And look at these kids. They storm the court. College basketball, folks. Nothing like it. Oh, look at the last shot. And he barely missed this.
I was about to say, you know, he got a better look than I anticipated, but 4.3 seconds to go. That certainly had a chance.
What a great scene here at Indiana, 81-78. Coming up next, the Journey, Week 2. This has been an exclusive presentation of the Big Ten Network. For Greg Kelser and our entire crew, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from Bloomington. Indiana wins in overtime.